What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something a bit different. If you watched my last design video, in the very beginning I told you guys to put your comments, concerns, questions, all about designing your island and making it look better. So I went through all the questions, guys. There was like 600 questions on that video. So thank you very much for that. Of course, I wasn't able to pick all of them. I do have 10 today, and I tried to pick questions that were kind of similar to other ones. So I hope that I answer multiple questions within these questions, if that makes sense. But this might be a longer video. Grab a snack, and we'll just get right into it. So the first question is by Sarah. And she says, can someone tell me where I can find the custom design for the chalk drawings on his sidewalk? Sarah, you are in luck. Right here, these are the Able Sister chalk drawings. They are on the screen right now for you. I believe this creator, if you look in the bottom left, the creator ID, I believe she has more chalk drawings. So definitely check her out. And then I will go a step further and I will give you another chalk code. Let me get over here. I didn't show this in my other video. Right here on the corner, it's a chalk box. I think it looks really cute. So that code is on the screen right now. So there you go. I hope I answered that for you. The chalk box I really love. I think it kind of ties everything together. And all right, let's get to the next question. Okay, so the very next question is from Roanstar21. Thank you. He says, how do you get 3 stars for your island? So there's a couple ways. I mean, one of the ways is just waiting, like just play the game and have it come to you. But the number one way, 100%, I can guarantee this, is to just move in villagers to your town. Fill up your entire town with villagers and you will get the 3-star rating. So I have all of mine, obviously, but this is early game stuff. So this is a beginner tip. Just move in as many villagers as you can. I think at one point in the game, early on, you can go to Tom Nook and get plots of land for 10,000 bells. And you can go to Mystery Islands, or if you wait 24 hours, random villagers will come to your village. But yes, fill up your island, guaranteed 3 stars. All right, so question number 3 comes from Dizzysaurus. And they say, yeah, I've been struggling to make my beach look good. Could you make a video on how to make your beach look good? I don't know if I'll make a dedicated video, but I'll definitely give you some of the tips that I've been giving out already in past videos. Mostly have to do with custom patterns. So these sparkly rocks, which are probably my favorite one, are now on the screen for you. These just add so much. I've been putting them near shorelines, near rocks, and I've gotten so many compliments on these. I really do think they add a lot more to the beach. And a lot of the custom patterns look pixelized, you know, that you can tell that someone made them. These are really good. They look like they're naturally in the game, so I really like those. Another one that was really popular was these sand drawings, so I'll put them on the screen now. I believe this is another screenshot that will have the creator ID on the bottom left. They have a lot of sand patterns. So here's a heart one. There's all different ones, and then you can combine them with those little rocks like I was saying before. So I just think that those 2 details alone will add a lot to your beach. And then one more I want to show you. Yeah, and then the last little detail is this moss right here. I think it looks so good, especially like right near the ocean. You don't have to do the entire rock, but you know, little corners near the ocean, I think gives it nice little accent pieces. And then you can see, like, I put these stones everywhere. I love them so much. So yeah, those are 3 tips to make your beach look good. And obviously it all depends on what items you get. Like I have the lifeguard chair, which looks really good. I made these custom patterns, which I'll put on the screen for you. It's like buried treasure. These are actually made by me. I know I take a lot from other creators, but these are actually made by me. These are just fossils if anyone's asking about those. But yeah, it all depends on what items you have. I have this beach blanket and this lifeguard chair, like I was saying before, and then these 2 beach chairs. So basically collecting items, but those 3 patterns will make your beaches really stand out. All right, question number 4 is from Jasmine Ware. She says, I'm trying to make a dramatic entrance to my island. Do you have any suggestions? Well, this is kind of perfect timing because I'm in the middle of redesigning my entrance because of some reason. So Cheddar was actually living here, and he's since moved to the back. But that's basically because this entrance, this kind of like showpiece that I made, is not in line with these Dodo Airline dock, this dock right here. So that was my main reasoning for moving him entirely. So my first tip would be to center it as best as you can to your Dodo Airlines dock. So this right here should be the front of the waterfall. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move everything over. But basically all I did was do some dirt path right here with flowers. And then I did the fence. And then in between, I actually did the palm tree on grass. And if you guys remember, I taught you this sand path right here. So all you do in an eligible area is just put down a patch of sand, dig a hole, and then you can plant a palm tree on grass. So that's another awesome tip. And then I just put 2 floor lights. These look really good at night. These are items that you can acquire, all different colors too, which is cool. Another point I want to make about this entrance, although it is an entrance, although it is like kind of a grand part of my island and it's welcoming the islanders, I didn't stray too far from what my actual village looks like. So as you can see, my actual village has the simple fencing, the dirt, and the flowers, and that stays consistent with the entrance. So keep it consistent. Don't go too crazy, but an entrance is a nice excuse to get a little crazy. So it's kind of up to you, but my tip would be to keep things consistent. All right, so next question is from Noah D. This made me laugh. This is funny. He says, he put a timestamp and he says, "Is that a house for a friend? What is that?" So I don't know if you guys know, I think most of you do, but if you go to my map, you'll see all my villagers, but you'll also see me and my girlfriend here. So this is her house. So you can actually put multiple people on your island. I don't know what the limit is. I don't know if it's 4 or 8 or something like that, but you can actually do this. And how you do this is, of course, you want to go to your system settings, and you want to go to users and add user. So this is me, this is her, and you just load up your Animal Crossing. I'm not going to do it now, but when you hit A on Animal Crossing, it'll say what profile you want to use it under, and you can actually live on whatever user owns this island. So I think that is really cool, and it's just like starting your own game. She started with a tent, and then she slowly paid off her debt. So you can literally have your friend, girlfriend, sister, brother, whatever, living on your island, which is really cool. They can get their own items, and it really does help out. So there you go. You can have your friends live on your island. All right, so next question comes from Leah Peterson. I don't know if I butchered that, but she says, "What details would you recommend for my island, like making an orchard, zen garden, landscape, etc.? P.S. Love your vids." Thank you very much. So basically what I'm getting from this question is, what type of theming or thing should I put on my island? For me, I started right here, and this is my baseball field. This is my thing that I wanted the most, and it was a project that I was willing to spend hours and hours and hours on, and I didn't care how much space it took up. So I just wanted that fixture in my island. I wanted that unique piece in my island. My island is very beachy, but it does have some downtown segments of it, but I wanted to make kind of an area where nature took over and it was like really rural looking. So I decided then to put my orchard here. I was thinking ahead to fall, and I really, that's one of my big memories from fall, is just having, going to the orchard and things like that. So this was another fixture I definitely wanted. And then from there, these ideas sprung where, I wanted a farmer's market. I had some extra space, and what would go, neatly near an orchard and a baseball field, more kind of outdoorsy things. Another idea that I had, of course, I wanted to do a campsite because it's a big part of your island. So I went ahead and made sure that this was an area that I spent a lot of time on. So I guess to answer your question, pick 2 or 3 big projects for your island. Don't worry about how much space they take up or time they take up, and then slowly, organically build around those big attractions. Okay, so the next question is kind of a long one, but I'll read it out for you. This is from Nicole Peralta. Thank you very much. She says, "Been seeing a lot of 5-star islands, and wow, they're super overwhelming. My island theme is more neighborly. Everyone's houses is on the main island right now, so pretty much everything else is empty. Have no idea what to do now, as I don't want to do much crazy terraforming, or nonetheless don't even really know how to do it. Can you post a video of terraforming for beginners or simple terraforming tips and tricks?" So I like what you brought up first, how a lot of the 5-star islands are overwhelming, and I do agree with you. And I've joked about it before, but my island, believe it or not, is still 4 stars. And I think that's because that I don't put a lot of items on. I don't try and crowd my island. I would rather have 4 stars and make it look good than overcrowd it and just to get that 5-star rating. But your question mainly focused around beginner terraforming tips and tricks. So this is a great one here. So yesterday I actually posted, and you guys get a sneak peek of my little area I'm working on, but I posted this stepping stone thing, and I think it's really easy to do. All you do is put a pattern down and then dig a hole around the pattern. I'll put the stone pattern on the screen for you again. I showed this in yesterday's video, but basically all you do is terraform, waterscape around this pattern. So honestly, this is probably the easiest terraforming trick that I can show you. So yeah, you just continue to dig around there, and then you can have stepping stones on your island, which I love the look of. And like I was saying yesterday, you can substitute actually spending bells on bridges and have a little stepping stone. So I really like the way that is. Another easy terraforming trick is just to put a simple waterfall on your island. I'll go to a simpler one, but yeah, this is all you do is build up and then waterscape the sides. That's the easiest terraforming trick you can do, and waterfalls always look good. And then I've said this before, but making everything look organic and the way it's supposed to in nature, and that's just simply rounding off edges. One of my pet peeves is seeing a lot of towns with these right angles. That's not really natural in nature. So just round edges, stepping stones, waterfalls, these are all basic terraforming tips, and they really don't take much skill to do. I also waterscape the edges of my ponds and lakes just to make everything a bit more round. I don't know, I'm big about, like, I hate that. That doesn't look good to me, so I just round everything off and it looks like an actual river in nature. And then my last bit of advice, this is probably for like a town square or something like that. I would just kind of mess around with like raised blocks like this if you want to create something other than a fountain in the middle, because I know a lot of people have fountains, but you can really experiment with this. Like this could be a nice little centerpiece, put flowers on top and flowers around. So I just am constantly experimenting with elevation and waterfalls. And I think it's all about having fun. But yeah, this is, a simple design here, maybe water all the way around. But just experiment with elevation, I think, is another good point. Okay, so next question is from Mackenzie Larson. Thank you very much for asking this. She says, you should give tips on design and layout before getting the Able Sister shop or terraforming. So again, this is another beginner's one. Design tips before you get paths, before you get waterscaping, anything like that. My biggest design tip, this is the perfect opportunity to start growing hybrids. So I've showed a similar pattern like this before. Just make sure that you have spaces in between your flowers. This is a great time before you start getting paths, before you start getting anything like that. Make those dream colors that you want. There are plenty of guides online for what colors make what, but right now I have red roses making hopefully black, white and red making pink. So have a lot of hybrid stations set up on your island. Just scatter flowers pretty much everywhere. Just make sure there's spaces in between. What you can also do, and a lot of you have been asking this, is plan out your layout of your island. So as you can see, the houses towards the bottom of my island, those have been there since I've started this game. The three on the left middle have been there since I started this game. I always knew that I wanted to kind of make a neighborhood vibe. The beginning of the game is obviously the best way to do this. Like I was saying before, there's a point in the beginning of the game when Tom Nook gives you plots of land to put out around your island. This is the perfect time to put them in a neighborhood pattern. So that's my biggest tip, because you're going to save a lot of bells in the long run, and your village will be pretty much built for you. And if you do it right, even before you get paths, all your houses should be lined up. Like all these are very evenly lined up. And then, you know what? When you unlock terraforming, the sidewalks are just the icing on the cake. So everything else should be built. Of course, like dirt and stuff like that, you unlock with terraforming, but this is the big one. And then, of course, you will unlock the Able Sisters eventually, where then you can start using your custom designs, which you can get in the kiosk in the shop. But until then, I would focus on flowers. I would focus on trees, getting all the fruits, maybe from your friends or something like that. But I think the beginning of the game, layout is the most important, and then work on your design once terraforming happens. All right, so next question is kind of similar to the one I just answered. This is by Squeaky Shoes. I think that's what it's supposed to be. They say, give us ideas on how to arrange villager home spaces on the island. horizontal across the map, vertically across the map in little sections. I'm stumped here on how I want to arrange them. So, like I was saying before, the beginning of the game is your perfect way to construct what you want. And my biggest advice for you guys would be to kind of sketch your island on a piece of paper or something like that. So if you see my island, so towards the top where I am right now, there's 4 houses kind of laid together. On the bottom right, there's 4 houses laid together. And then in the middle, on the bottom, there's 4 houses, well, with 3 houses with shops and everything. So I kind of made little neighborhood groupings, I guess you would say. So there are a lot of different ways to go about it. I could have easily just made the right part of my map a complete vertical row. The beginning of the game is key to kind of have this all planned out. I hate moving buildings around. That's like the thing I hate the most in this game. But besides that, it is up to you on, where you want your villagers to be. Do you want your town more of a city feeling? Do you want everyone together? Do you want people scattered like original Animal Crossing where they're scattered all throughout the island? All right, so next question is from Hip Hip Renee. I like that. How do you keep your island looking as natural as possible while still getting a 5-star rating? This question is kind of difficult for me to answer because I don't have 5 stars, but I do know a couple tips and tricks. So first thing is to not have things on the ground, not to drop anything on the ground. So these sticks on the ground, weeds on the ground, pick them all up, pick up all your weeds, pick up all your sticks. That will help your rating significantly. Whenever I go to Isabel, she's like, there's too many things on the island to pick them up. Another thing is to just put a lot of items on your island. Something that I struggle with and is probably the reason why I don't have 5 stars. As you can see, just part of my design aesthetic really is letting nature come first and then adding little pieces to it. But even these log stakes help. Even this sign helps. Another thing that really helps is putting a lot of DIY objects on your island. That really does raise your island rating. See, like a lot of us have a DIY bench, but right here, do you have a pink DIY bench? Do you have a red DIY bench? So definitely customize your items as well. Another thing that I've heard about the 5-star rating is once Nook's Cranny upgrades to its final form, I think it's 30 days after you've had Nook's Cranny, that can significantly boost your town rating. So that can bring it from, like, if you've been struggling like me at a 4, it can bring it over the edge to a 5. So that's another tip that I've heard. And then last but not least, the amount of terraforming that you're doing on your island. So, if you're making waterfalls, if you're making custom ponds, if you're making these giant landscapes, not like this, but if you're making like these giant landscapes on your island, that can definitely help out too. So there's a lot of strategies. Another one is a ton of flowers. I've seen people's islands just get taken over with flowers. At the end of the day, though, I think it really comes down to how badly do you want 5 stars. For me, my personal thing is, as long as my island looks good and I'm happy with my island, does 5 stars really mean a lot? Am I gonna want to crowd my island with a ton of structures, a ton of items just to get that 5-star rating? And for me, the answer is no. So will I ever get 5 stars? I don't know. But I've heard these tips and tricks work. A lot of flowers, a lot of trees, landscaping, and Nook's Cranny updating to the final form is one that I've been hearing a lot. Okay, and the very last question is from Haley H. And she says, here's my question. How could you incorporate lots of trees but still make your island look civilized? So, I've seen a lot of trees that are questionably placed, I'll say. So one of my things is I believe that all beaches should have a ton of palm trees. I mean, tastefully enough. Like this one has a couple, and then these down here, this one, I kind of wanted more of a beach. But palm trees are a great way to kind of fill up your tree quota, but have it seem more natural. Right here, I even put palm trees on land, like I was saying before. I think especially near beach areas, it looks really good. I really like it. And then I've incorporated palm trees in my entrance. I've incorporated palm trees in my town. I think palm trees are really underrated and they don't just have to stay on the beach. Another one, like I was saying before, is my orchard. An orchard is a great excuse to put a lot of trees in a very small area. And, this is how apple orchards look. They look crowded. So this is another great way to tastefully add something in. And you don't have to do an apple orchard. Maybe you want to do a pear orchard. I'll put that back later. Maybe you want to do an orange orchard. It can really be anything that you want. Another one that I was recently focusing on was my campsite area. And if you guys have noticed, my entire campsite area has a cedar tree border. So I think it does a couple things. It makes this area a bit more secluded. It makes it look like you're in the middle of the woods, but it's also a great way to put a bunch of trees in your town. And then finally, I was talking earlier about different landmarks and different points of interest in your town. This part of my island is super underrated. So all this really is a way to get to my baseball field from this neighborhood right here. But as you can see, I've stuffed this tastefully with a bunch of fruit trees, and what normally could just be a boring way to get to my baseball field and my playground is now filled with trees. I still got to put some more here, but is now filled with trees and flowers and looks great. Also in my baseball field area, I've surrounded it completely, as you can see, with cherry trees. So I guess, I mean, trees, as long as they're not in rows besides orchards, they can look really great. But if you have a path that, you know, isn't getting a lot of love, just try and organically place these trees, a bit of flowers. Bamboo is another great excuse. That's all around my Zen area. So that's some ways to put trees tastefully on your island. All right, guys, so there you go. Those are 10 questions. Again, there were so many I wish I could have featured. Let me know if you want me to do maybe a part 2 of this. I can answer a lot more questions or give you some patterns that you guys may have missed. But I'm going to go fishing right now while you look at these great comments. I'll see you in the next video.